You may be familiar with the work of my guest today, but you may not recognise his face. Ramon Williams has been taking photographs at the other side, taking them side rather than the other side, and recording Australia's Christian history for over 50 years. Welcome, Ramon. It's good to have you.
Thank you, Keith.
50 years of documenting history is quite an achievement, really. Where did it all start?
I would say the first story I did was on the birth of my own triplets in Java. We were missionaries there. We had 3 children, then we had the triplets. They were the first to be born and survive in Indonesia. That's 1967. So I photographed them, I wrote the report, and sent it out. That was the first press release. We came home 67, the end of 67, 68 Billy Graham crusade, and the Herald photographer took photos at a pre-crusade meeting. I noted him take some photos on the platform, but then Billy Graham came down off the platform. I was speaking to the Archbishop. He was speaking to the head of the churches, and the Herald photographer didn't know who they were. I did. So I asked, where's the religious photographers? Oh, there aren't any. Oh, come on. So the next day, I had permission to photograph for the religious press.
And so it all began from something that was an obvious need that you stepped into. How would you describe the changes that have gone on during those years?
We have built up quite a reputation. We were supplying 300 papers around the world with what was happening here in Australia, something that hadn't been done before. There is so much mission work being done, children's work, old people's home, homelessness, that people aren't aware of. And so that was my job, telling others what others are doing for the Lord.
And certainly you've been sometimes getting a story out there before other people get hold of it and giving it the right angle, as we say, in the communication. What are some of the challenges you've faced in doing this?
I would say the biggest challenge is getting in the right position at the right time. I learnt from Russ Busby, who was Billy Graham's photographer. The first 2 minutes that Billy Graham is speaking, get in close, photographing the head and shoulders. Even during the announcements, Billy Graham used to hold his Bible so that you didn't disturb him during the sermon. After 2 minutes, get to the back of the crowd, photograph the crowd scenes, photograph the general atmosphere. So I learnt from Russ Busby quite a bit.
Not to be intrusive is one of the things.
Yes, very true.
Look, one of the things that you did was, and I mentioned it in the intro, was the Cyclone Tracy. Tell us a bit about that.
Cyclone Tracy, my wife's brother had a children's home in Darwin, Retta Dixon Home, and we couldn't make contact with them. So I had permission from a religious media association to say I represented the Christian media. I phoned the Air Force. I said, any room getting into Darwin? They said, yes, we can fit you on a Hercules tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock from Richmond. But you have to bring your own clothing, your own supply of water, your own eating, food, supply, in your camera case, because we don't have room in the plane. I picked the biggest camera case I could find. We packed that, put the cameras around the neck, and went off. Got up there, found churches had been demolished in the cyclone. Spent a day photographing all the churches. Sunday, I phoned 2CH, radio station in Sydney, and got a report through what's happened to every denomination church, Catholic, Baptist, Anglican, the lot. Then after the phone call, I went looking for the Red Cross because a lady from our church was there with the Red Cross. Family hadn't heard from her. And so I found Betty. Said, who's photographing your work, the Red Cross? I said, nobody. So let's see what we can do. So I spent the day with the Red Cross. They are the only photos the Red Cross have of their work following Cyclone Tracy. And I photographed the Salvation Army work as well. And was able to get on the last flight back thanks to the Red Cross. And so came back, developed the films, got it all out because we photographed it in black and white, colour, the lot. The National Museum of Australia now has that camera case and the 3 cameras that I used.
Yes, how lovely, how lovely. And things have changed so much today that you go to a place now, you've got all these amateur photographers now with their cameras in the air and their phones, taking pictures with their phone.
They're not cameras.
but that's how it is, isn't it? It's changed so dramatically, hasn't it? And
when I was photographing the Queen at St Andrew's Cathedral, I had a beautiful angle shot, and suddenly, as she appeared, all the hands went up with mobile phones. Oh, get out of the way.
Yes, absolutely. Raymond, I want to say on behalf of Wesley Mission that we've appreciated the work you've done with us over the years, but also for the whole Christian community. Yours has been a ministry. If someone was listening to our conversation and they were thinking of developing their skills in Christian media, which can mean many things, of course, today, what would you say to them? You've been around a long time, you've got experience. What would you say? Young person comes, I'd like to do Christian media. What would you say?
I'd say, why are you doing it? Make sure it's what the Lord wants you to do, not what you want to do. Because so many people want their name in lights, etc., etc. But is the Lord in it? Are you going to promote him? Which is what it's all about.
And I often think of that scripture that talks about our lives being hid with Christ in God. And I think you've exemplified that through your ministry. I don't want to embarrass you. You've done that. And that's critical to any ministry, isn't it? But it's not easy for people to always get it, is it?
To take the back seat, to get out of the limelight, no, it's not easy. But it's necessary so that you are showing the subject you're trying to present.
And in a way, photography does just that because you're behind the camera, not in front of it.